Hello, I am Craig Kleinsteiber, and my report is going to be on independent used car operation. In my report, we will talk about what does it really take to run an independent used car sales dealership. The person I reference in here is going to be Joe Jonas. He was my old general manager at a dealership I had worked at a long time ago. I kind of caught up with him. I knew he had an independent dealership. So he actually gave me a lot of good insight as to what it takes to really be successful in the ins and outs and how it works. So as we go forward, I may mention his name once or twice. All right, so we'll start out with the history of the vehicle dealerships. Originally, there wasn't any, so what they did was they sold direct to customers. So what that meant was department stores, mail order, or traveling salesmen may come around and talk to you about purchasing a vehicle. 88 Empire State Motor Wagon in Catskill, New York was the first used car dealership in the United States. Currently, there are over 200,000 used dealerships in the United States, bringing in over $350 billion annually, which is actually one of the largest retail segments of the economy. It's a pretty big deal. Used vehicle industry health. There's one big organization out there, NADA, National Independent Automobile Dealers Association. It was formed in 1946. The idea behind it was, to support dealers, also along with consumers. The biggest thing is supporting dealerships, making sure that they're treated fairly, that they're doing the right thing for customers, basically all of that. They also lobby for and against legislation that may affect the auto industry. And then they also put out a pretty big annual report talking about the latest trends in the auto industry. They really put it out for anybody big, small, a lot of volume, low volume dealers. So they really tailor it to everybody and kind of give them a good insight as to where they're at, what they should be thinking about doing. So they're pretty helpful. Today, I believe there's about 38,000 or so dealers that are part of NADA. So operations, how do dealers work? First thing is, how do they get cars? So how do they procure vehicles? Auctions would be probably the best as far as maybe the chance to make the most profit. This does take some time going out to these auctions. Now these auctions are typically wholesale auctions, meaning the public is not allowed to go in. So this is going to be, you're going to have a dealership license, which is usually you find at the state level. So there's a little bit involved with that. But basically, you're going to find these trade-ins there, maybe unwanted inventory or overstocked inventory from dealers. There are some risk involved with that because you don't know quite what you're getting. So you might get it back to the dealership, find some different scratches, things that you didn't know, some flood damage, maybe some mechanical repairs that you weren't expecting. There are some risk with that. Most of the stuff is supposed to be stated up front, but not always 100%. There are going to be some fees along with these auctions, so you're going to be paying a fee to either send it to auction or buy it from there. Trade-ins would be the next one. So it's a great option for new vehicle dealers a lot of times because somebody trading in something on a new vehicle usually has something that isn't completely wore out, that is usually refurbishable or enough to put back on the lot. So for used car independent dealers, it's a little bit different because they're buying a used car with some miles on it. I mean, they're probably trading in something that may be a little bit used up. So once in a while they get lucky, but most of the time it's not usually the best option. And then buying the vehicles outright. So this would be, searching online, looking for something at a decent price, maybe from another dealership. Otherwise, some dealers will actually advertise if their inventory is getting low, trying to just say pay cash for cars and see if they can buy something outright from Publix. How do they price them? Well, the old day used to be paperback and NADA guide. So that used to be the Bible of how you would price a vehicle. Nowadays, not so much. So those guides kind of went online. They still have NADA and Kelly Blue Book. two big ones on there. So consumers use this to kind of see if they're getting a good value, and dealers kind of figure out what their price is based on the condition of the vehicle. The most common thing nowadays is actually doing online comparison. So that means, if I have a like vehicle that you can find on the internet and see what that's priced at, well, you don't want to be priced $1,000 higher than the same vehicle. So you're going to price your car comparable to that, at least competitively to that, if you want to have a chance of selling it online. So this is kind of good and bad. So it could end up being that you stick more or less, maybe less money in a car, and maybe not sell as nice a vehicle as you typically would if you put it on a lot. But it is also pretty nice as far as knowing what other ones are selling for, especially in the area, and you can price it pretty competitively that way. And then obviously repair costs affect the price greatly. So that means whether it's detailing the car out or any kind of mechanical repairs or cosmetic dents, scratches, cracks, glass, chips, things like that need to be taken care of. All it comes out of the bottom line and how you're going to price that vehicle. Selling of used cars, so obviously the location, we find dealerships in high traffic locations a lot of times. It's not by accident, that's intentionally. So when customers are driving by, they see something shiny in the lot that they like, it gets their attention to stop in, maybe make a deal. Other advertisement in newspapers, radio, TV, those types of things gets a little bit costly, but it's pretty effective. And then online, so auto search engines like autotrader.com, cars.com, you got Craigslist, you got Carvana out there, so if somebody can actually order a car nowadays, shipped right to their door without ever leaving their house, sign the paperwork, you can, in a lot of cases, keep it for up to 7 days, return it if you don't like it. So kind of the direction things are going, so that's kind of an option for these dealers to start selling them. Another part of the dealership can I guess be an expense too as far as employees. So if it's a real small dealership, it might just be one owner operator. He might sublet service, he might sublet detailing, handles the sales and business operations. It's a little bit bigger dealership. There's going to be a sales office or sales staff. There's going to be finance staff, office staff, all those types of things up front. If they're big enough, they may even have their service department and detail staff out back. And then there's a vehicle buyer. Somebody's got to go to these auctions. Someone's got to searching for these cars to put on the lot. So a lot of times they hire a vehicle buyer to go out and do this for them. So advertising and marketing varies depending on the size and volume of the dealership. Obviously, it really comes down to the budget. So again, back in high traffic areas, they use flashy banners, signage, flags, paper ads, newspaper, magazine flyers. Talked about before, pretty effective. A different way to do it. So it's kind of an advertisement there. Radio and TV ads, again, pretty expensive. Those usually bring in traffic. And then the biggest one is going to be internet and social media. So obviously advertising, having a good strong website presence on your own, putting these cars on websites similar to what I'm here, and different auto search engines, and then social media, having a Facebook presence, Twitter, talking about the deals of the week, those types of things would definitely help with bringing customers in. And then word of mouth, obviously, you give the customer a great sales experience, they're going to come back for more, and they're also going to tell their friends and family. So when she comes in, it's already been told good things. Obviously, it makes the sales a little bit easier for you as well. And then dealership financials, kind of usually handled by either the owner, or if it's bigger, it's going to have like an office manager. So financing of inventory and customer financing, two bigger ones. So financing of the inventory, dealer can pay cash for it. Otherwise, they can get loans from the banks. Usually, there's going to be interest-only loans, similar to like floor planning when on a new lot that they do right from the manufacturer. They can do from the banks, but obviously, the best thing you're going to do is pay cash, own your inventory, invest back into it when you sell it. Customer vehicle financing, they can pay cash. The dealer personally finance it, or the dealer a lot of time works with local banks, credit unions, those types of things to help get financing for their customers. Now, obviously, there's less risk with that. If the dealer personally finances it, well, it's on them if the customer goes delinquent on their payments. Whereas if the financing company has that issue, it's on them to really go after them. So, pros and cons of independent dealers today. Money to be made. Well, obviously that's a good thing. Joy from selling a dream car to somebody. So it makes you it's kind of a fun job to have, just selling a car to somebody that they really enjoy. And they're pretty excited about having something new. And then internet sales kind of make things a little bit easier. Cons, internet sales. What? I just said that was a good thing. Well, it's also kind of a double-edged sword. So I talked about the cutthroat part of that. Kind of starting to hurt as far as cutting into the overall profit because you're trying to keep that price down. You're also kind of skimping on some of the things that you normally would have done to make that vehicle a little bit nicer and stand out. So it's a little bit harder, or can make things a little bit harder nowadays. And then inventory costs. I mean, the price of these vehicles are pretty high to begin with. Really, that profit margin hasn't changed over the years. So having a bunch of cars on a lot costs a lot of money. So starting out, obviously, it's pretty hard to handle. And then opportunities in the car dealership. You could be an owner, there's management, so a dealer office, finance, sales, service, parts management, and then being an employee, sales, service, parts, detail, office, car buyer, marketing, things we talked about. And last, key to successful ownership. So I talked to Joe Jonas, I mentioned in the beginning, his keys were start small, don't get over it, reinvest your profits. So put it back into the business, whether it be inventory or building. Have a strong internet presence. Make sure that you're talking about getting your customers with reviews on there, because that's a pretty key thing. And then always deliver a great buying experience to customers. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you very much.